Welcome to this week's episode of Talkin Folk. I'm here with Ryan. What's up, Ryan?
Nick, what's going on? Happy to be here.
Yeah. You and I just finished a nice little interview with Nathan Kalish. That was fun. What'd you think?
Yeah, we had a great conversation with Nathan. A lot of fun. Great little country folk artist working out of Nashville. He's got a new album out called Songs for Nobody. Came out a little earlier in the year, maybe 3 months ago now. He played us a couple songs off the album. We had a good time.
Yeah, so he's playing Songs for Nobody live and Calamocho. We have a whole conversation about the album in 3, 2, 1.
Enjoy.
Go. All right. Welcome to this week's episode of Talkin Folk. This is Nick, and I'm here with my co-host Ryan. And this week we're joined by Nathan Kalish. He's kind enough to come on the show. How are you, Nathan?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Very good.
I'm doing just fine.
Awesome.
Thanks for coming back. I say that as a joke because we recorded an episode a few weeks ago and had some technical issues. So for everybody's sake, we're redoing it. Especially Nathan's. So thanks for coming back. Biggest reason that we're here is to talk through your new album. You know, talk about your new record that you put out, Songs for Nobody, 2 or 3 months ago, and maybe talk a little bit about the new album, what you're up to, and hear a few songs from. I don't know. You haven't told us what you're gonna play, so it could be from this album. It could be from something else. So we'll find out. But why don't you talk to us a little bit about Songs for Nobody? That came out a few months ago, like I said. But where is there a general theme to the album? Where was the maybe inspiration for that, and what ultimately ended up being a pretty strong 10-song output from our perspective?
I wrote the songs over the course of like 2 years. I recorded the album twice. My inspirations for it was trying to make something with like a live band in the studio, just like essentially using a country band with country instruments to kind of create something a little bit less country, but with that aesthetic and that sound, and then kind of make it kind of like a psychedelic kind of modern version of that type of thing.
And country is not what you would say is your typical sound on past records that you've gone to, correct?
Yeah, there's a couple records that were pretty country now that I think about it. Like I did one record that was just upright bass and Telecaster and acoustic guitar, and that had like a very kind of Johnny Cash, Tennessee 2 sound to it. I guess it kind of depends on your definition of what country is, That was a pretty country record. And then I did another one that was kind of like that, but it had some mandolin and fiddle and pedal steel on it. It was the same kind of idea, though. There was no drums on those records. So those records are actually pretty country. But yeah, for the most part, it's always been a little bit more rock. And I forget about some of the records that I've made too. I just remembered about
punk
those right
records,
now.
Didn't you?
Yeah, I did like one record that was like pretty kind of back when they called it cowpunk, which I don't think anybody says that anymore. Cowpunk.
No.
That was kind of like what Lucero was, and that kind of that kind of sound. We did a lot of gigs with Lucero back in the day. That was like around 2008, 2009 when we were doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's actually a big fan of Lucero. Saw them a few times live up here in New England area whenever they toured through. That was a fun show.
Yeah, those were like some rowdy audiences. Them and the Drive-By Truckers, that was kind of like earlier records of mine were they fell into that category of music. And I didn't even really know who the Drive-By Truckers were at the time. But I kind of wish I did back then,
Yeah. Some guy from that band made it pretty big, I heard.
Yeah.
Goes by the name of Jason Isbell, I believe.
I've heard of that guy. He lives around here too. Everybody really likes him.
He's great. He does put out high quality music as well.
I really like this new song off his new record. He's got a great song. What have I done to help? I like that song. It's kind of reminds me of like, kind of sounds like something like a modern take on like a.
It's a little bit of a political call to action, right?
I don't know. He's kind of like Dylan, you know. It's like it could go either way. Like, is it political or is it like your personal opinion about politics, you know?
Yeah.
I'm not really sure what that song is about. It seems kind of introspective, but there's definitely political stuff on that record from what I've heard. He definitely goes that direction.
Yeah. Well, we did an episode on him a few weeks ago on that new album. It's good output from him. That was a good one. We had a lot of fun talking through that, Ryan and myself actually, and Joe, one of our other co-hosts. But you know, for today, we want to focus on you. Obviously, don't want to have you talk about
Let's talk about Jason
other artists.
The whole time.
Yeah. So what have you been up to? I mean, you know, you put out this album, and obviously, you know, it's prime or height of quarantine pandemic time. You know, you can't tour, unfortunately, and I know that we've talked about that in the past. Is like a huge, you know, problem for artists. But
that's
what
like my
what are
main
you
income.
doing these days? Yeah,
I'm just hanging out, working on music. Been writing with my friend Lucy. We're working on her album. She's got a great producer she's working with, and but I'm helping her write the songs. And she comes with an idea, and then we spend like a couple hours and we finish it up, and you know, put bows on it, and then we demo it here, and then she goes and she records like with a band. So that's been really fun for me. That's actually a really traditional country record. Like that one's like fiddle songs, and it's been really cool to work on that because it's like one next level towards traditional, and I don't have to like put my name on it either. You know, I can just kind of like experiment with it. So
right.
Now, is she the lovely vocal that's also featured on Songs for Nobody?
Yeah, she's on that track 8, I think. Don't Confuse Me.
Yep.
Yeah, she sings on that. And yeah,
great voice.
Yeah, she's super great. She's a great fiddle player too. And she's got a great idea. She's just got great ideas for songs too, and we work really well together. So it's been really fun. And just writing from the perspective of a female is something I never did, and I failed at it the first few times, and then I've gotten better at it with her help and guidance.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Are you, in addition to her music, are you working on anything for yourself, or is that just more like writing now to kind of put those away for later?
I'm writing a ton, writing like every day, sometimes, you know, all day. I've got about, especially early on in the pandemic when everybody was locked in their houses. I went up to Michigan and stayed out in a friend's farmhouse, and with a dog. It was just me and a dog, and I played guitar for like 8 hours a day and just wrote. So I pretty much wrote an entire album when I was up there, and then now that I'm back here, I'm still writing. And yeah, I've got tons of new material that, you know, and it's all kind of introspective. It's not like my last album where that was kind of more issue based and outside world type observational. This is like a completely, you know, look inward, which is something that I'm not always that into doing, but I've kind of enjoyed it this time through. So
now, what's the writing process for you look like? Are you more pen to paper and get it all out at once, or do you write little ideas down here and there, or jot stuff down on your phone as it comes to you?
Yeah, I use my phone a ton. So what I usually do is I start working on it, and then I write out my ideas on my phone, and then once I get like a verse and a chorus, or just a verse or whatever, you know, then I just like record voice memos on my phone, and I use voice memos a lot for melodies. So sometimes I'll, you know, use just lyrics that are throwaway lyrics, placeholders, and then I, you know, can adjust those as I go. And sometimes I'll work on lyrics for a song for months until I'm, you know, happy with them.
Yeah, so now speaking of the songwriting process, an interesting little tidbit that I saw about Songs for Nobody is that we actually have a little co-write with the legendary Johnny Cash. You want to tell us a little bit about that story?
I do want to tell you about that, but I'm not legally allowed to talk about it anymore. So
all right, touchy subject.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a true story.
No,
the story, the story that's out there on Google is a true story.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, so if you're listening to this, that means you have to go pick up your phone or get on your computer and go Google the story. There you go.
You just gotta look it up on Google, and that's the story. Yeah.
So,
sorry.
since I'm pretty sure we can ask you about this next one, can you talk to us about Calamocho? And Ryan and I both have tried Calamocho, and it leads to like the craziest of hangovers. So is this song, you know, obviously it's about the drink, but you know, is that
well? It's
from
not
a true
really
story?
about the drink. No, I mean, it's a kind of about the drink. You know, I think it's kind of more about it's kind of like about being young. You know,
Right.
And Calamocho is something that you drink when you're young. You know, before you even get hangovers. You know, and it's a teenager's drink in the bath.
Depends on how much you drink, though.
Yeah. I mean, I think that, I mean, that's always a factor. But I mean, I just feel like, you know, when you're young, you don't really get hangovers as bad, you know? And then when you're old, it's like you have 2 beers and then you can't even like look at a beer for like 3 months. So
I hear you on that one.
So
I'd agree. The last time I had Calamocho, I was probably either 19 or 20. Was the last time I dipped into that devil's drink.
Yeah. Definitely tasty. I like it with the Mexican Cokes and then like $3 bottles of wine from Aldi.
Yeah. There you go. That's the secret sauce.
It's really, really tasty, but it's probably all the sugar that gets you the next morning.
Yeah. I like to use like the driest red too, so like a Cab or whatever, you know, they have that's dry. But yeah, I mean, it's just
So for all you bartenders at home, we like to go with the Mexican Coke, the real stuff.
Yep.
With the real sugar cane, and then just a cheap
part.
bottle of dry red, and you mix the two together and
then
pour it over ice.
50-50. Yeah, and if you're feeling adventurous, you can put a little like bourbon in it too.
Oh,
if you're hanging out with my buddy Jake, and then you gotta put it on ice too. Yeah. But the recipe's actually in the
That's
song.
the last thing it needs.
So I mean, you know, it tells you how to make it in the song. It doesn't give you the parts though.
There you go.
But, I mean, yeah, I mean,
yeah. First track on Songs for Nobody. Go listen, and you'll know how to make a nice Calamocho.
Yeah.
So, thinking, Nathan, maybe let's have a song. What do you think?
Yeah, that'd be great. Let's do it.
So what do we have in store?
I'll just do Songs for Nobody real fast for you guys. Yeah. got nacho cheese on the dashboard. I woke up in the rest stop, wondering how much more I can take. My troubles don't even out with my pay. My career is like that accident. We passed back up on that highway, bottlenecking, rubbernecking. Everybody is just inching by my mango beater on the shoulder of the U.S. highway. I got last night's food all over my jeans, smell like beer, whiskey, hoping I don't have to explain the policeman that I woke up this way. My career is like that accident. We passed back up on the highway, bottlenecking, rubbernecking. Everybody is just inching by my mango beater on the shoulder of that U.S. highway. On that highway. Maybe if I wasn't dead inside, I would stay with you for the rest of my life. But I'm just passing by, playing songs for nobody. And time keeps moving fast, my friends that keep moving past, but I'm still out on that road, playing guitar, sleeping on their floors. My life didn't quite end up like I planned it. I got passed up on the highway instead. Bottlenecking, rubbernecking. Everybody is just inching by my mango beater on the shoulder of that U.S. highway. On that highway. Maybe if I wasn't dead inside, I would stay with you for the rest of my life. But I'm just passing by, playing songs for nobody. If I wasn't dead inside, I would stay with you for the rest of my life. I'm just passing by, playing songs for nobody. Nobody.
Yeah.
All
Nice.
right.
We'll give you the applause.
Yes.
Hey guys,
I like
I'm back.
Yeah, that was great, man.
That was great.
Cool.
I was interested when you said you were going to do songs for nobody.
Yeah.
Because that's a pretty electric song, right? Like on the actual record, it's pretty, full band
Yeah,
and
it's
all
a
that.
full band.
So when
totally.
just the acoustic and the harmonica sounded really good. Different version. Of it.
Cool. I'm glad you liked it. Yeah, it's play a little cross harp, so that makes it a little more rock and bluesing. And then just try to fill up the space with my idiocy on guitar.
So
a lot
that's
of
the
chords
title
out.
track. So that's the title track for your Songs for Nobody album. Is there a story behind that song in particular? Obviously, it ended up being something that named the whole album as well. What can you give us insight on that?
Well, I was just driving, doing a gig in Connecticut, and I had to get to, I think, D.C. the next night. I was just miserable, and I didn't want to hit the Eastern Seaboard, so I drove past Chicago, and I drove through New York at night to get past that traffic. And by the time I got out of Manhattan, I ended up at a truck stop, just slept there for the night, and probably shaved a few hours off of my drive the next day. Could have been so I was just miserable, sleeping in my van, and I was kind of laughing at it. And then my bass player had her nacho cheese spill out on the dashboard, so that was the first lyric of the song, you know, nacho
Yeah.
cheese on the dashboard, and then, you know, smelling like shit, hoping you don't get pulled over because you smell like whiskey, even if you're not drinking or whatever, just from, you know, the residual whiskey from the tour.
Yeah.
Not showering and whatnot, sleeping in your car and just looking like a total mess. And I was just kind of over it. So I thought it'd be fun to write a funny song about it. You know, put some humor on your own despair.
Yeah, it's great.
The beauty of behind the scenes in the music industry.
Yeah, it's really glamorous.
Yeah, I know people get these images of you know, these guys sitting around in their big vans, you know, getting driven around, but the reality is that sometimes you got to do the dirty work and get nacho cheese all over your dash.
The album got pretty great reviews everywhere, but there was this one critic in England that gave it a 1 out of 5 stars, and he just like totally ripped on me super hardcore, and he was like, I would hate to be on this guy's tour bus, because it sounds like his tours are, like, from his lyrics, it just sounds like this guy just has like a horrible life, and I'd hate to be in his tour bus. He sounds like a real like menacing guy or something, you know. And I was like laughing so hard, you know, because he gave me such a rough review, and then but then it just showed how out of touch he was. Like,
Yeah.
thinking that I was on a tour bus. It's like,
That's
he
funny.
must mean my minivan. I don't know what he's talking about a tour bus for. That's
Yeah, exactly.
but I tried not to take it too personal. I laughed at it a little bit. My publicist was like, "Do you want to see this? It's a horrible review." And I was like, she's like, "A lot of people won't see him now because of mental health reasons." And so I was like, "Yeah, I don't know." I was like, I don't know if that's a good idea. I said, "Yeah, totally." And then she sent it to me, but I meant totally, like, I don't want to see it for mental health purposes. Anyway.
Oh man. Oh. All right, so maybe we've got time for one more, Nathan.
Cool.
You want to
Yeah.
do another one? I know you got your
Yeah, let's
guitar ready, so might as well, right?
Let's do Calamocho.
Oh,
Do that.
sweet.
All
As
right.
we talked about. Take this headphone off without knocking the phone off this time. It's pretty old strings. Any guitar player knows, the older the strings, the harder it is to stay in tune when you capo up. I don't know why that is, but it's just, when I have new strings, it stays in tune.
I couldn't tell you. I'm one of those people that plays
String
guitar
not
and
so much.
has no idea.
Looks like I'm good. We drank Calamocho in the mornings. We were back in bed by the afternoon, skiing just like the Basque Country, kissed by the sun in the sunny air. I went back to Tennessee when she took her husband by the rising sea. In a boat they raised a family, just like the ocean, she never belonged to me. We drank Calamocho in the mornings. We were back in bed by the afternoon, skiing just like the Basque Country, kissed by the sun in the sun, yeah. But as I age, my memories fade. Yes, red wine and Coca-Cola stains, they stay on my mind and on my teeth. They from lips of red Spanish vintage. How my drink of choice has changed. I need something with less sweet taste. Lovers' memories replaced, and bitter thoughts are what remains. We drank Calamocho in the mornings. We were back in bed by the afternoon. The skin just like the Basque Country, kissed by the sun and the salty air.
Woo!